This is an early 2008 24-inch iMac. Now, I actually got this machine off Craigslist for only $180, and it was in non-working condition. Now, when I got it, I went ahead and turned it on, and it turned out the only issue was a bad hard disk. And they actually did say that in the listing. They said that for whatever reason they couldn't get the OS installed. They didn't really give much detail, and of course they didn't show a picture of it on, but it turned out that the only issue was a bad hard drive, so that was pretty nice, and an easy fix too. So yeah, that's the machine. So let me just go ahead and give you a brief overview of it. Alright, so on the front here we have the bottom bezel and Apple logo, and of course below that we have the foot, or the stand, whatever you want to call it. Right here we have the massive 24-inch screen. Now this screen is huge in person. I didn't realize how big these actually were until I got this one. This is the first iMac I've ever owned that's bigger than 17 inches. So that's pretty freaking big based on what I've seen before. Alright, so on this side of the machine, all we have is the optical drive. This is a SuperDrive, and yeah, it does work. So on the back of the machine here, you can see at the top we have the Apple logo and the cooling vent right there. Right here we have the ports. We have an audio output, an audio input, 3 USB 2.0 ports, a FireWire 400 port, a FireWire 800 port, and a gigabit Ethernet port, and a mini DVI display port right there. In the middle right there we have the power input, and on this side we have the power button. The RAM door is actually on the bottom of the machine, and it is held in place by a single screw. Let's see if I can show you that. Yeah, you can see it's right there. So let me just go ahead and flip the machine over, and we'll take a look at the spec sticker on the bottom of the foot and see what the original specifications were. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll resume the video once I get the machine turned over, because it is an extremely heavy machine. It is like almost impossible to do with one hand. Alright, so here's the spec sticker, and it's actually upside down, so I have to hold the camera upside down. So you can see it is labeled as a RFB iMac. Now that actually means it has been refurbished at one point in its life, and yeah, that's quite interesting. This has a 3.06 GHz Intel Core 2 Duo CPU, 2 gigs of DDR2 laptop memory, and I have upgraded that to 4 gigs. It originally had a 500 gigabyte hard drive, but like I said, that was dead, so I just installed a 200 gig hard drive that I had spare, and the SD means SuperDrive. So yeah. So I guess what I'll go ahead and do now is hook it up to a keyboard and mouse, and we'll go ahead and turn it on. So I'll resume the video once I get the keyboard and mouse hooked up. Alright, so I have gotten a keyboard and mouse hooked up to the machine, so let's just go ahead and power it on. Now it is currently running Mac OS 10.8.5 Mountain Lion, so that is what is going to boot up right now. Alright, let me go ahead and log in. And it's asking me to set up my keyboard. And we are now in the OS. So, get something to track this mouse better on, because it's not tracking very well. Alright, there we go. Let's go ahead and do about this Mac. As you can see, it has a 3.06 GHz Intel Core 2 Duo. We saw that on the bottom sticker, of course. And 4 gigs of DDR2 memory. And you can see all that right there. Now as for graphics, we have an nVidia GeForce 8800GS graphics card with 512 megs of video memory. And that works really well, actually. Like, the animations are extremely smooth, and there's hardly any lag in the system whatsoever. It is a little laggy, but definitely nothing too bad. Like I said, it is a 24-inch early 2008 model. Under displays, you can see that the built-in display has a resolution of 1920 by 1200, so it is quite a high resolution display. Under storage, of course, we have the SuperDrive as well as the 200 gig hard disk. And memory, of course, there are only 2 slots. Let's go ahead and close that. And yeah, everything works extremely well in this system. And it doesn't run too hot either. I have a dashboard widget installed that will tell you the temperatures. So if we go into that, you can see that the temperatures are actually not too bad. The hottest thing is the GPU diode, but that is to be expected. But even that isn't running very hot at all, so the cooling in this isn't as bad as I thought it was, so it's quite nice. Well, that is pretty much an overview of the machine, so let's just go ahead and shut it down. So that is an overview of this early 2008 24-inch iMac. Hope you enjoyed this video.